All right, so 4.3, we're finally going to get to start graphing lines with using the slope and things that we've been talking about. Okay, so we are going to be graphing from slope-intercept form, so you're not going to have to use the slope formula, but you will have to remember that slope is rise over run. Or another way that I found that has been helping students is if you say the top number in your graph tells you to go up or down, and then the bottom number is where you go right. So that's the run. When I say run, I mean you're going to the right. Okay, the x-intercept. This is where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay, so x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. So where do you think the y-intercept is on the next line? Well, it's going to be where the line crosses the y-axis. And y-intercept is what I'm going to be really focusing on the most here because that's where our starting point is with how we're going to be graphing. Okay, slope-intercept form is my favorite. Here it is. Here is your formula. It's y equals mx plus b, where your m, so m is a number, that is, and you've seen it before, that is going to be your slope. So the number in front of the x is your slope, and the b, whatever that number is that doesn't have the x attached to it, that tells you what your y-intercept is. Okay, so that's where it crosses the y-axis. So identify this here. Let's do a few of them. Identify the slope and y-intercept of the following lines and then graph. So your slope is, okay, where do you look for slope? So slope is going to be the number in front of your x. So that would give you 2, right? And your y-intercept, where you start your graph, is at -4. And since it's on the y-axis, so that means it's at the coordinate 0, -4. So all of these y-intercepts are going to start with a 0 because it's where it crosses the y-axis. The x-coordinate is always going to be 0, so it's always going to be 0 and then whatever the number is. Okay, we did all that. Now let's graph some lines. So we've got, oops, sorry, I'm having trouble zooming here. So you start, so step 1 is start at your y-intercept. And then your step 2 is move with your slope. And that tells you, and then connect dots and draw lines. Okay, or draw arrows, I mean. Okay, so let's start. Our y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, is at -4 or 0, -4. So it's right here on the y-axis. Because remember, this is x and this is y. All right, so our slope is 2, which is the same thing. Anytime it's a whole number like this, it's 2 over 1. So this means we're going to go up 2, right 1. Because remember I said it's up or down and then right. So go up 2 spaces, right 1, and you're right there. Let's do it a few more times. So from that point, we're going to go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, and that's plenty. So try to draw a line and make it as straight as you can. Mine's not that great, but it'll be okay. And then don't forget to draw your arrows. And we're done. Okay, let's do this one. Your slope is remember, your m is the number in front of the x. So in this case, it's -2/3. And then our y-intercept, remember it always starts with a 0, so it's at 0, 5. Okay, so because of that number right there. So start at 5 on the y-axis. And since this slope is negative, we're going to start by going down. So this is down to right 3. So down to right 3. Let's do it again. Down to right 3. And I feel like 3 points is plenty, so we will draw our line and our arrows. And there she is. Okay. Let's do another one. So what is our slope here? So since there is no number out here in front of the x, x is the same thing as 1x. So if you want, you could write a 1 right there. It doesn't hurt anything. So our slope is 1, and then our y-intercept is at 0, and then also 1. Coincidence, because we're looking right there. All right, so now let's start with our y-intercept, because that's where you always start. So it's at 0, 1, which is right there. And then our slope is 1, which is the same thing as 1 over 1. And since it's positive, we're going up first. So up 1 over 1, up 1, right 1. And there it is. All right, next one. Pause this video and try it by yourself. Okay, so we've got, if you paused it, great. If not, here we go. So your slope is 1/4. Your y-intercept is 0, -2. So start at -2 on the y-axis. And then our slope is positive, so we're going up and right. So up 1, right 4, up 1, right 4. All right. There's our line. I'm a little off, but that's okay. With your arrows. All right, a few more. So here's this one. So now we have y equals -x minus 4. So what's the number in front of the x? Well, if there's just a negative sign, that's the same as -1, right? So -1x. So our slope is -1. Our y-intercept is 0, -4, right? Okay, so this one's a little bit different. We're starting in the negatives. So go down to -4 on the y-axis. And now our slope is -1 over 1. Since it's negative, that means we're going to go down and then right. So down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Connect them. Ooh, that was a good line. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. This gets people. All right, so the slope, let's talk about that. So the slope is the number in front of the x, which since there's nothing there, that's a 1. Now, what's your y-intercept? So you know back from the beginning it was y equals mx plus b. So what are you adding here if there's nothing? What could I add to this if there's nothing there? And the answer is 0. So that the y-intercept on this is 0. So it's going to be 0, 0. So that's where we start. It's called the origin. 0, 0 is called the origin. So you start in the middle. And then our slope is 1. So that's 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Then connect them. Oh, that one's not as good. All right, just a few more. Ooh, these are good ones. So this one, y equals. So if you notice, we're missing on the slope-intercept form, we're missing this whole term right here, right? We have nothing there. And remember, whenever you have two letters next to each other, they're being multiplied. So what can I multiply x by to get it to not exist? Because there's nothing here, right? The answer is 0. So y equals 0x and then minus 4, right? So that's the same thing as this. So your slope is going to be 0, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And your y-intercept is going to be 0, -4. Okay, so 0, -4, let's start there. And we have a slope of 0. So you may remember from the first lesson of this unit, 4.1, where I was talking about 0 slope, and that's going to be the horizontal line. Another way you can think of it is this is going to be, it's still a whole number, 0 over 1. So you go up 0, so you don't go up at all, right 1. Up 0, right 1. Up 0, right 1. And this is going to be a horizontal line. Okay? And you do have a few like this on your homework. So when you get to this, go back and flip back to this, because these next two can, or this one and the next one can be confusing. All right, this one is a weird one. So this actually, there is not a y-intercept because this is not going to cross the y-axis because the slope is undefined. So what type of lines have a slope of undefined? Well, this is going to be a vertical line. Okay, so that last one was horizontal. X equals 5 is going to be a vertical line. So on the x-axis, go to 5. And then it's going to be a vertical line that goes through 5. Kind of cool, right? Okay, I'm going to do one more. I don't think we need, oh, we'll do it. Okay, might as well. So the slope on this next one is what? -3/2. And then the y-intercept is at 0, -1. So you start at 0, -1. And since it's -3/2, that means we're going down 3, right 2. So down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2, down 3, right 2. I want to show you something because on these graphs that I provided you are really nice and big and you have plenty of room. On the other ones, on your worksheet, you may run out of space. So the opposite of going down and right, so it also works, would be going up and left. So if you go up 3, left 2, that would work. Up 3, left 2, up 3, left 2. So as you can see, this still makes the exact same line. It is a line, but sometimes whenever you run out of graphs, say my y-intercept is right here and I would be off the graph, that's what you may have to do. Oh, just, actually not this one. Okay, so this one, the slope is 4/3. And your y-intercept is 0, -9. So start at -9. Go up 4, right 3. Up 4, right 3. Connect them. There you go. All right, that's it for 4.3. Thanks for watching.